Are you aware of the tragedy and suffering contained in the two letters FD? This terrible disease is carried by 1 in 27 persons of Central or Eastern European Jewish descent. Familial Dysautonomia, a genetic, neurological, degenerative disease, is present from birth and often fatal in childhood. It is as prevalent as Tay-Sachs once was. Here to tell you more about it is outstanding researcher Dr. Barish Rubin of Fordham University.
Familial dysautonomia affects the children. It also very much affects the siblings, the parents. It becomes a focus of their life. These children go through really very, very trying times. They have periods of times where they go through what are called retching crises, where they will retch hour after hour, sometimes day after day, these horrible, painful, long crises. During these crises, their blood pressure can drop precipitously and sometimes go up to levels which are stroke-like. What was so frightening about this disease and the perpetuation of the disease is that there was no genetic test that allowed people to know whether or not they were carriers for this disease. So our first attempt was to try to find the genetic cause of familial dysautonomia. In the summer of 2000, we began that work, and within a few months, we found the genetic cause of familial dysautonomia. Children with FD lack a critical protein called ICAP. We have demonstrated in the lab that we are able to increase the amount of ICAP produced. I've had sleepless nights when I knew that children I cared about very much were in the hospital. Recently, I've had sleepless nights, but those are because of excitement. We have made some significant progress. We have demonstrated that we have had an impact on this protein. It is telling geneticists worldwide that you can look at particular mutations and manipulate the severity of the disease by having factors, vitamins, minerals, nutrients, change the expression of that gene so that they will get more of the functional gene product. These are people who are committed to these children and are terribly, terribly hurt when some of these children pass on. And then there was this renewed commitment that nobody else should pass on our watch. We believe that there are other substances out there, and we would like to find those substances. We would like to look at 1,000 or even 10,000 natural compounds that are out there that could be used to increase the level of this gene product. That takes time, it takes money, it takes effort. The amount of funding that we have to work with will determine the number of compounds that we're able to look at. And so that there is a direct correlation between how much we can do with the amount of funding that we have.
Here is a family already deeply affected by FD for the past 14 years.
I first found out that Daniela had FD when she was a month old, and they couldn't figure out why she wouldn't eat. The neurologist came in and he figured it out just because he had a friend whose child had it. Because she's oxygen dependent from all the pneumonias, she can't just go outside and play anytime like anybody else. I'm a Girl Scout leader, so she can have Girl Scouts, so she can have one time in her life that she gets to be with kids her own age. We live with such uncertainty. We don't know. Sometimes she's almost stopped breathing in the middle of the night and we have to just throw her in the car and run to the hospital. The retching when I can't help and she's already had the maximum amount of medicine and I can't do anything and she's just crying and throwing up. Can you imagine a kid throwing up every minute and a half sometimes? There are a lot of people with FD that are gifted, and Daniela probably started off that way, which is what's so sad, is that it was unnecessary, that she was not getting enough oxygen sometimes and they didn't realize it. Sometimes you still see the ghost of the gifted child that once was.
Dr. Rubin and the lab for FD research at Fordham University, they found 2 natural components which help some of the children with FD by increasing their level of protein. Does this give hope for the future?
Well, the tocotrienols, they have no downside, no bad side effects. And since she's been taking that, she has not had pneumonia in almost a year, which is the longest we've ever gone. She used to get pneumonia about once a month. Living with Daniela is kind of a roller coaster ride. You just never know what's going to happen. A lot of kids have died because they stopped breathing in the middle of the night with nobody knowing, but somehow our instincts caught it each time. It's just hard for a family to see one child suffer. I don't think about the future if I can help it.
Daniela, tell me, what is there about FD that gives you the most trouble?
When I rest, I can't drink.
Can't drink at all? How does that make you feel?
Sad.
Yeah.
I wish I could drink.
Right. So what is that next to you right there?
An oxygen tank.
And what's that for?
It helps me breathe. When I'm at school, I get fed by the tube at school.
Tell us about when you wake up in the morning and you said what's the first thing you do?
I take a lot of medicine. I'm tired of taking medicine.
Tell us why are you doing this interview? Why did you agree to it?
Because other kids have dysautonomia, and I feel sad for them.
And our first demonstration of success has encouraged us to look further and has said to us that we can do this. We can have a serious positive impact on the lives of these children. And we intend to. And we intend to go to graduations and weddings. We're looking forward to that day when these children no longer think of themselves as having FD, but just think of themselves as regular kids going through life in a very, very normal fashion.
You can play a meaningful role in helping the hundreds of children who, like Daniela, suffer daily from this disease, which invades and sickens nearly every part of their bodies. Cure FD Foundation has as its only purpose the funding of research to treat and cure the young victims of FD. The answers, as you have just heard, are beginning to come from Dr. Rubin's lab at Fordham University. Donations received by Cure FD Foundation go directly to help advance this life-saving research. Please help us to save these children's lives, to really make a difference for them. From the depths of our hearts, on their behalf, we thank you.